You've only got 3 seconds to stop your shopper from scrolling past your book on Amazon. Now, over the years, I have reviewed thousands of book covers, and most self-publishers fail that 3-second test. Now, in this video, I'm gonna break down the 5 design mistakes that kill your book's chances at sales, and I'll show you how to fix them fast, as well as sharing the 2 simple rules that pretty much guarantee you're gonna catch these mistakes before you ever hit that publish button. Now let's jump right in with number 1. And before I do, I just wanna say, I am not immune to these mistakes. I have made many of them myself, even with a professional design background. So no shade here, we're gonna work through these things together. So mistake number 1 is designing for no one. What this really means is you haven't yet dialed in your target audience. So you're creating a cover that attempts to appeal to everyone, and instead you end up appealing to no one. The result is a really generic looking cover that gets scrolled past every single time. Now, when you have clarity on your audience, this is gonna dictate everything from the general style, the color palette, the typography choices that you use. So let's look at a couple of examples here. Now, in this first example of a gratitude journal, I really can't tell at first glance who exactly this particular journal is meant for. It could be a teenager, it could be a grown-up, a professional, it could be a senior citizen, it could be a man, a woman, a boy, or girl. There's really nothing that grabs me and says, this screams, whatever that particular audience is. Now, conversely, take a look at this gratitude journal. All right, the very first word is the F word. It's a guided self-love and gratitude journal for women to un-F their life, exhale the BS, blah, blah, blah. Right away, we can tell pretty much the exact type of person that this is going to resonate with. But even more importantly, it's going to actively repel anyone that is not part of this specific demographic, right? This book is not for everyone. It is for a very specific person who finds this kind of language, this particular design aesthetic appealing. So the fix for this mistake is to clearly define exactly who your book is meant to be sold to. Once you know that, it's going to be a lot easier to make your design choices, your overall aesthetic, the typography that you're going to use, the colors. And when you're done, ask yourself, would my audience instantly recognize that this is for them? When your audience is scrolling, are they going to stop and go, oh my gosh, this is exactly for me? If the answer is not a clear yes, then just go back to the drawing board and make some adjustments. So mistake number 2, I call the thumbnail fail. So your book cover has to work at thumbnail size on Amazon. And if you've got too many details, too much clutter, small typography, that is all going to disappear when shrunk down at that size. Remember, you only get about 3 seconds to make a shopper stop the scroll. So your cover's design elements, including prominent imagery and text, need to grab their attention and be legible. So in this example, you can see with this blue book in the middle here, you can't read the text at all. I don't know which block of text, and there seems to be 3 or 4 of them. I don't know which one is the title, which one is the subtitle. I think I might be able to tell which one is the author name, but I have no idea what that text at the bottom is. There's nothing really that stands out here. Chances are, if I was looking for this particular type of book, I would scroll right past this. Now, in comparison, this book is in the exact same niche as the other one. So if I was, typing in keywords into the search bar, looking for books like this, both of those books are going to come up. But have a look at this one. Very similar in color. It's got that blue background, but look at how that title just pops right off the page. There's really great hierarchy here, meaning, that title is coming forward first, it's legible, my eye is going to the author name next, the less important text, that subtitle, and probably some praise or endorsement in the top right. That is sitting back nicely. This book passes the thumbnail test. So the very simple fix for this mistake is to simply just zoom out. Test your cover at about 100 pixels wide. If you can't read the title or see what's going on in your cover, fix the issues. And do an actual thumbnail test. Screenshot a page of your competitors, place your thumbnail into the mix. Does it stand out against your competitors? Can you read your text? If not, adjust. Now moving on to mistake number 3, before we do though, if you'd like to learn how to start generating passive income, creating and selling really simple to make books, please download my free guide, 3 Steps to Publishing Your First Low Content Book in Less Than a Day. I have linked to that down below. All right, mistake number 3, I call this one counterfeit clones. Now this happens a lot with low and medium content books, not so much with fiction and nonfiction, although it does happen sometimes. Now what's usually going on here when it comes to low or medium content books is that a publisher will find a book that's selling really well. They want to get in on a piece of that action, so they're going to try and create a book that looks almost identical to that bestseller. Now it's totally okay to jump on a trend. That's recommended if you're trying to make money as a lower medium content publisher, but your focus should really be on differentiation, not on creating a poor facsimile of that original bestseller. Not only is this unethical, you might actually be infringing on someone else's copyright depending on how far you've gone in copying that original book. Also, if your cover blends in because it just looks like all of the other books on the page, you're never going to stand out in those search results. Now the fix here, study your category, know your audience, then design your cover to be different but still relevant. Again, when you've got your cover, put it into context against all of your competitors and just ask yourself, does this thing stand out or does it look too similar to the books already on this page? Also, if you are working from a Canva template or some other template, make sure you're customizing it so that it looks different. And if you're working with a graphic designer, make sure you review their portfolio, make sure they're not reusing their other covers as a template for your book. And if they're using stock images, see if you can spot the stock image anywhere else in any of your competitors' books. Moving on to mistake number 4, I call this one typography troubles. Typography is actually a lot more difficult than most people realize. There is an art to it. Now there's a lot of issues to go over with typography, but some of the most common ones are the text being too small or illegible, no hierarchy, so there's text everywhere and the eye doesn't really know where to go first, no contrast with the background so it gets lost, bad kerning. Now kerning is the spacing between letters. Sometimes it's too tight, sometimes it's too loose. Sometimes the chosen font is just the completely wrong tone for the message that you're trying to convey. I always love showing this particular typography meme here to just like really land this point. Font choice really does matter. Now, when you've got good typography, the words stand out. They're legible at various sizes. There's good hierarchy. You know which text is the title, the subtitle, etc. There's only 1 or 2 fonts and it matches the tone of the genre and the audience. So your typography fix is to limit yourself to 1, maybe 2 high quality fonts. And I'm sorry, no Comic Sans or Papyrus allowed. Dead giveaway that you're an amateur. You want to match your fonts to the tone of your project as well as the audience. And you want to really prioritize hierarchy and readability. Make sure that the title is what's dominant. Now, if you're liking this video so far, please consider subscribing and give it a like. I'm going to be doing a video coming up very soon all about interior formatting mistakes. So you don't want to miss that. Please do subscribe. All right, on to mistake number 5, which is composition chaos. So composition is just the arrangement of design elements like your text and your imagery on the page. A lot of common problems I see here. Again, weak hierarchy, so the title and the subtitle are competing. There's too many elements on the page, which just creates this sense of clutter. Misaligned text, so I can tell when a title is meant to be centered, but it's completely off. Busy backgrounds, making text unreadable. The text just gets lost in that background. So looking at a few examples here with this one, this cover is actually really cute, but there's just a lot of stuff going on here. Mainly my issue is with the typography. There's really not much contrast between the top title and the subtitle. They're really competing for attention. My eye is just bouncing around all over the place. I would make one of those much bigger, the other one smaller, so that the main title is what stands out first. Similarly, with this example, there is just too much going on. My eye's bouncing around all over the place. The title is getting lost in that really busy background. It's essentially illegible. Now, conversely, this is a great composition, and you'll notice it's actually quite a busy composition. There's a lot of design elements all over the place, illustrations everywhere, but because this person is employing a strong hierarchy, our eye knows where to go first. It's not being bounced around the page. That typography, and they're using 2 different fonts here too. But regardless, it's done in a way where that main title is standing out. The subtitle is sitting back nicely, and all of those design elements in the back, even though there's quite a few of them, they're sitting back nicely and they're not getting in the way. Same with this book. Again, there's actually a lot going on here, but everything is designed in a way where that title is coming forward. That's where my eye lands first. I'm seeing the author's name at the bottom. All of those other elements, they're sitting back nicely. So even though there's a lot going on, there's a great composition here and a great hierarchy, which means that this cover is working really nicely. Now, there really is a lot to say about composition, but the easiest way to see if yours is working is to do the squint test. This is super easy. You literally just look at your cover and you squint your eyes. And what you're looking for when you squint is there a clear hierarchy? When you squint, what are you seeing first? Are you seeing all the different elements in the order in which you intended? So when you're squinting, is the title the first thing that jumps out? And then is either your author name or the subtitle the second thing that jumps out? You'll know if there's a strong hierarchy if your eye lands on the thing you want it to first. If your eye's bouncing around, there's no hierarchy present. You'll also be checking for balance. So centering, does one side, top, bottom, left, right feel heavier than the other? If it does, you can rearrange some of the elements. You'll also just get a sense of whether the cover is too busy overall. Again, if it's too busy, your eye's gonna be bouncing around all over the place. It's not gonna know where to land. But even if you've got a complex cover, like a couple of the ones I just showed you, you're gonna know it's working if your eye lands immediately on the title and then starts to go around to all of the other elements. So the two main ways you can fix pretty much all of these issues before you ever hit publish. First off, again, view your cover at thumbnail size. Does it still work when you squish it down on your screen to this big, like 100 pixels? If you can still more or less read your title and get a sense of what's going on your cover, then it's pretty much good to go. And again, I really encourage you to take that screenshot of your competitors, the results page, pop yours in there so you can see your cover in relationship to everyone else's. Number two, always do a test print at home. If you don't have a printer at home, go to Staples. Printed proof, also recommended. You just simply can't tell how something is going to look until you see it for yourself in the final medium. This really is design 101. There's a big difference between how we see things on a computer screen versus how we see something printed in our hands. And you're gonna catch things in your printed proof that you never would have caught on screen. So view it in print before you hit publish. Now, if you're interested in learning how to create book covers using AI, watch this video next. And again, if you liked this video, please give it a like. Do consider subscribing and share it with anyone you think might find it useful. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next week.